All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we actually have Thunder Bay, Ontario's own. So we have a Canadian hip hop artist in the building. We have Be the Wiz right here, right now, live on the line, man. How are you doing this evening?
Hey, what's good, man? Thank you for having me out, DJ Immortal.
Hey, man, I gotta say, you're most certainly welcome, man. It's definitely an honor, man, just to be able to converse with an amazing, talented artist, and also a Canadian artist at that, man. You know, I love chopping it up with artists all over the world, man, but nothing is better than just talking with a fellow Canadian.
Gotta love it, right? It's homegrown.
I gotta say, man, I know a lot of the American listeners right now are gonna scratch their head when I ask you this, man, but how's your Thanksgiving weekend currently going right now, man?
I mean, I'm actually at a Friendsgiving event right now, too. I made some jalapeno poppers, and they're popping, you know what I mean? You'll have to hear it. And, yeah, I got a bunch of food going on in the other room. I just dipped out for a minute to do the interview because, you know, you gotta love the fucking fact that I'm doing an interview on Thanksgiving.
I gotta say, man, when I reached out to you, I didn't even realize it was Thanksgiving, bro. Like, I literally worked so much that when I literally did the interview, I'm like, wait, I have 2 interviews on Thanksgiving? I'm like, whoa. I'm like, all right, shit. like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I mean, hey, you know what I mean? I get it. Every day's a work day. You gotta love it.
but also, man, I don't want to keep you away from your function too long, man. So I'm gonna dive right into this, man. But on April 5th of 2020, you actually released the phenomenal single titled "Quarantine." I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a little bit more about that track. And of course, man, like, where can we actually buy or stream it today? Because I know this is one of your first tracks you actually released.
Yeah, man. So it's my first one on Spotify that I actually released, like Spotify and all major streaming platforms. It was during the time of COVID, and basically everything started like all this isolation started going on, and everybody was kind of talking about their own separate experiences. And I was like, well, you know, I'm as an artist, why not make a song about it? And so I ended up writing this song, and then interestingly enough, there was a girl that ended up making a music video about it for film, and then she ended up like sharing it with me and stuff like that. It was really cool because like people found creativity within that creativity, so it's like cool how art can be, you know, like it can be transitional, I guess, where it's like one person can make a song and then one person can make their own music video about that song.
And I gotta say as well, man, during the pandemic as well, it was a blessing, but it was also a curse at the same time because so many people found inspiration by just being literally. It was literally like house arrest all over the world, man. You couldn't leave your house no matter what. So many people found so many inspirations, man, during the quarantine.
I was gonna say, yeah, man. What ended up happening was that me and my friends ended up doing a lot of gaming together, and those guys that I'm now making music with regularly, hosting shows with in Thunder Bay and stuff like that. So it's really cool that we were able to get together over such an uncertain time, and you know what I mean, come out of it, and then just begin building and begin working. You know, because there's everybody needs that right now. People need live shows, they need music, art, because that shit's beautiful.
And also, you were actually included on a group project with the Ghetto Children Collective. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners the story behind this project, and of course, how did yourself and the Ghetto Children originally get connected?
So it was a collective of artists that was formed. Shout out to the other artists that are in that, you know what I mean? And I still talk with Jamie Labrador regularly. She's the female singer songwriter. She's, you know what I mean, an amazing person. Got mad love for her. Shout out to Cody Desmoulin as well. You know what I mean, and Javen Mikas as well, because like all of them, you know what I mean, are like, you know, mad respect to them. And it was we ended up connecting through an organization called Earthling Art Collective. And sorry, man, I just smoked a blunt earlier, so we connected with Earthling Art Collective, and then it was like we began making a series of musical projects together, and it was interesting, you know what I mean? It was an interesting experience. I'll cap it off with that.
And also, not too long ago, you actually had the opportunity to get interviewed by Canada's biggest television and radio broadcasting channel by the name of CBC. I was wondering, how did that opportunity actually come to be for you? And of course, what was it like just being featured on Canada's biggest platform in all of our nation, man? Because realistically, CBC is the biggest. It's like the BBC of Canada.
Oh, you're absolutely right. So first of all, shout out to Sarah Konitsky. She's an artist as well as an interviewer for CBC, and she's doing the Spin the Black Circle segment. And she's not only a super talented songwriter, singer, and I actually met her at the Momaway Summer Festival, and that was hosted and put together by James Wilkinson and Dave Simard. And like right there, like all those people that I just mentioned off are like top. They're like amazing people, and like I love them so much. And so I met Sarah at that festival, and our vibes were just kind of, you know what I mean? We kind of resonated with each other. We were kind of like, okay, like, you know what I mean? You're a songwriter, you're a singer as well. And we ended up talking a little bit more. She got the opportunity to do the Spin the Black Circle again, and then she asked me if I wanted to participate, and I was like, I would absolutely love to. So I ended up getting connected with her through the summer festival, and then just seeing her around, and she's been super busy, and like, you know, like I wish nothing but the best for her.
And also, man, on March 11th of 2022, you were actually featured on Cross Kid's single titled "This Pack Is Corrupted." I was wondering, how did yourself and Kid get connected, and of course, what was it like just being able to work alongside him in the studio?
I was gonna say, first of all, like shout out to Cross Kid because he does a lot of work within the community, and he actually performs at like quite a bit of events around Thunder Bay. He actually, within a couple years ago at ThunderCon, he actually got me on the bill at ThunderCon, and it was an amazing opportunity for me to be able to perform there and be able to kind of just be able to meet people. And it's like, because I play video games, like I'm like a huge, like I'm super into that whole, like, you know what I mean, subculture. And yeah, so being able to do music there and performances there and stuff like that, it was really cool. The song we ended up doing from our own separate studio places, or from our own separate studio spaces, and then sending work back and forth. And CrossKid actually did a lot of the mixing and mastering on that song, and he's a really talented artist. Like I'll be the first to say it. It's really cool to see because there's so much talent that's actually flourishing from Thunder Bay. Like off the top of my head, I can probably tell you about like 15 to 20 artists that like we've booked for our shows and stuff that are all just absolutely slaying it.
And also, man, talking about like shows and whatnot, on April 19th of 2022 in Thunder Bay, Ontario, you had the opportunity to open up for Canadian hip-hop veteran Robbie G. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about that eventful night. And of course, did you get the opportunity to meet Robbie before or after your performance?
Oh, yeah, man. Me and Robbie go way back, actually. Like, I've actually performed and opened up for him, like, numerous times. And it's like every time he's come through, you know what I mean? It's just nothing but love from me. And, like, I always get on, like, you know, I always make it, like, you know, I always make it a duty of mine to get on that bill because Robbie's a great guy. He works really hard, and he does a lot in, like, touring and working with different hip-hop legends and different hip-hop artists that are just absolutely killing it. In addition to that, like, we just actually did a show, and we actually opened up for Tech Nine as well. And so that was really cool because, like, Robbie was, once again, associated with that. And, like, you just, you know, you love to see it because, like, there's hardworking people, and you got to respect the hustle and the hardworking people out there.
And speaking of Tech Nine, man, I have not been to a Tech Nine concert, but I've heard some stories, man, about how his crowds are absolutely insane.
It was absolutely unreal, man. You got, like, if you haven't been to a Tech Nine concert, you've got to go to a Tech Nine concert because, like, he was actually one of my first concerts that I ever went to. When I was, like, 16 years old, he came through, and he was performing at the Roxy within Thunder Bay. And it was my first time ever going to a hip-hop concert. I was just like, man, like, it was fucking, yeah, unreal. 10 out of 10. him and Chris Calico were together, I'm pretty sure, too, and, like, they were both touring at that point, so it was, like, yeah, fucking unreal.
And while we're actually still on the topic of performances, man, I also noticed on your Facebook that October 15th of this year, you were going to be performing at Shooter's Bar. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners what can they expect from this up-and-coming Be The Wiz performance. And, of course, where can we actually snag ourselves some last-minute tickets to come out and see you live in full effect?
All right, so within Kenora, everybody that's going to be on that bill that's going to be locals, they currently have tickets right now. So Narky, the Holy Trinity group, and like they're first of all, they're doing so much work behind the scenes in order to help with that show, and they're doing an amazing job. And like I can't wait to actually meet all those guys in person. Huge shout out to Orose Bailey because he's actually the one that's organizing that show and working towards organizing. I'm doing my best to help him behind the scenes, you know what I mean? Kind of like a Yoda and Luke situation, and it's beautiful. I think that, like, the show is going to be absolutely incredible. I've got lots of music with all the guys that I'm going to be going down there with. So during my set, I'm going to do, like, quite a bit of solo material, but then I'm going to be doing a lot of group material with, you know, Young Shellac, with Chupanko, with O-Rose, and, part of my favorite thing about performing is being able to do those group tracks that are unreleased, and that's something that people that come out to the shows, like, they get to see something that's super, like, they see music that is in the process of being mixed and worked on right now because it's like we write so much music, but the amount that we've released, like, we haven't begun to even tap into that well. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited to be going there, and I hope everybody in Kenora is super excited for us to be going there.
And I have to ask, man, aside from, you know, this performance coming up on October 15th at Shooters, what is next for yourself, Be The Wiz, man? Is there anything we happen to miss during tonight's interview? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? Or we still got you here live on 97.7 FM this evening?
All right, so I'm going to be working on an EP upcoming here. It's called Humility Over Everything, and it's actually a 5-song EP. I have ZZZ featured on that. She's got a couple songs released on I believe SoundCloud right now, and I'm not sure if she's on Spotify and everything, but she's absolutely incredible, and so I've got her featured on that EP, and I highly recommend everybody checking her out. In addition to that, I'm also going to be performing with the Young Kings, which is me, Young Shellac, Cruzo, Chupanko, and O-Rose, and we're going to be performing on the 29th at a multi-bar bar crawl music festival going on within downtown Thunder Bay, and there's 8 venues that are going to be participating within that. We're going to be hosting an evening as well as going to be performing that night as well. So if y'all want to catch us in Thunder Bay, it's a one cover for every bar. Be sure to come out through there. If you're in Kenora and you want to check out our show, you know, come out to there, and stay tuned for, you know, more stuff from the Young Kings, and we'll just, we're going to try to keep up, and, you know, please follow Be The Wiz on Facebook if you don't mind, Be The Wizard on Instagram, and, stay tuned for more.
And I got to say, first and foremost, Be The Wiz, thank you so much, man, for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and sliding in to the 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM radio dial this evening, man. It definitely was an honor and most definitely a privilege, man. Hopefully down the line we can do this sometime again soon, man. But for now, definitely enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving long weekend.
Hey, bro, it's all love, and anytime you want to have me, I'd love to fucking chat with you, man. Much love to DJ Outlaw.
Hey, I appreciate you, man.
Love to Outlaw Radio, and but yeah, Outlaw Radio.
Hey, most definitely, man. I already know that weed here in Ontario, man, definitely kicks your ass.
I was gonna say, man, my apologies, bro, but it's all love.
Even when the government got a hold of that weed, man, you knew it was gonna be a bitch slap. You know what I mean? Like they definitely make some phenomenal strains, man. It's not like it used to be.
Oh, bro, fucking, I was going to say, shout out to everybody out there producing cannabis, you know what I mean? It's fucking delicious. But yeah, take care, brother.
Hey, most definitely, man. Have yourself a phenomenal night.
Peace.